But yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Let's watch Disney showcase goes very Disney Marvel's game showcase goes very poorly. We're gonna take a little bit of a break to watch some good old the some good old video game news. YongYea. I've been watching this guy for a long time. He posts a lot of videos, and he always keeps like a firm understanding of the current game media. So this was a good video. I liked it. Uh, we're gonna watch his Disney's Marvel's first game showcase goes very poorly. Let's watch this really quickly.
And Marvel hosted their first ever game showcase, and I don't think it went particularly well, and a significant portion of the internet doesn't seem to think so either, judging by the likes to dislikes ratio on the official upload of the Disney and Marvel game showcase. You can see right
Probably
here
they don't really care.
26,000 likes versus a whopping 30,000 dislikes. More dislikes than likes usually tends to mean that people were not pleased by the
Yeah.
content shown. And I'm going to run down through everything we saw here and kind of explain why the show wasn't well received. But what it basically comes down to is
Serenade to me the explanations. Oh yeah, of the young.
that the games from Disney and Marvel that we really wanted to see just weren't there. There weren't a lot of sort of hype inducing announcements, and there was a lot of focus on mobile games. And it was, for a 20-minute show, it just didn't feel all that substantial.
How many? I don't really understand. Why do people still? It was like basically a few years ago when people understood the value of the hype, of the building anticipation for things they want people to like enjoy, and then work off that high to introduce other less recognizable title, introduce fucking mobile games, whatever the hell they want to do. Like, just use your flagships, use your titles, everyone to see. Why push the crappy stuff nobody likes? It's
It didn't
Sometimes I think that these showcases videos are made extremely exclusively to appease the actual shareholders instead of people who will play those games.
feel like they had enough
It's almost like see how much money we're about to make. Please give us more investments.
compelling content to justify a game showcase of this nature. I mean, even though this 20-minute presentation was comparable in length to the state of play that PlayStation
Obviously,
hosted
yeah.
recently, the difference is just night and day.
Substance is not existence the fact that substance is not existent in Marvel stuff is not an old it's not a new it's not a new concept. Marvel was always shallow and completely brainless, so it's not a surprise.
Sony showcased games like Tekken 8, God of War
Yeah,
Ragnarok,
yeah.
Rise of Ronin,
Yep.
Like a Dragon Ishin,
Yeah.
and more. They had some pretty substantial announcements, and closing that off with that amazing God of War Ragnarok trailer
Yeah.
was just
I
the
haven't watched that, by the way. I should watch that sometimes.
cherry and icing on top. When
Yeah.
you do a game showcase like this, especially if it's your first one, you really have to bring your A game. You cannot pull any stops. And with Disney and Marvel's game showcase,
They
it felt
obviously
pretty
didn't.
tame compared to the other ones that took place in the past couple of days.
Be safe. Don't try to risk it. Be as brainless and shallow as possible. They will eat it up.
The showcase
And people do eat it up. They do.
off with the unveiling of Tron Identity from Bithell Games, a studio that you may know for John Wick Hex. So I expect this to be a smaller, more indie level game. The announcement wasn't helped by the fact that it was just a logo teaser and no information or footage of the game proper, so
Obviously.
it's hard to be excited for it. Next up, Illusion Island is this 2D platformer featuring Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. I actually thought this one looked pretty neat. It's got a nice 2D art style.
It kind of looks like Rayman, actually. Similar style to it, which is not surprising at all to me. Rayman is a good game. They have good games, so it's nice.
Has a bit of that sort of Rayman Origins and Legends
Yeah, see what I mean? See what I mean?
vibe, and looks like it could be fun. Not the most substantial announcement per se, but a neat looking game.
Yeah,
From there,
yeah.
we got a new look at Marvel's Midnight Suns from Firaxis. This is essentially an XCOM style game featuring Marvel superheroes. And
Huh.
as a fan of tactics games, I'm personally looking forward to this
I
title.
do, I do. I would like to play this. I would like to play this too. I would also like to play XCOM 2 sometime soon. I'm gonna get XCOM 2, and I'm gonna get other XCOM like titles because it's a good mix of RPG and strategy games, which I enjoy.
But we have seen this marketed so much already that this didn't generate any additional hype for me. The
Yeah, yeah.
presentation then swerved towards mobile games, spotlighting games like Marvel Strike Force,
Okay.
announcing that Hulk would be making it into the game, and then there's Marvel Snap, which is this Hearthstone style digital card game themed around Marvel superheroes.
I'm not even gonna try it honestly.
Just nothing that interested me personally. They spent a couple of minutes on this one game alone, definitely took up way too much time of this presentation.
Yeah, I don't really think, I don't imagine Marvel will bring anything fresh to the entire Hearthstone formula. They never bring anything fresh. They just rehash what was already there.
This was followed up by Aliens Dark Descent, this bird's eye view isometric shooter Aliens game. It looks alright, but I'm not particularly excited by this one personally. I know plenty of people were disappointed when this game was first shown at Summer Game Fest. They show that really cool CGI trailer only for it to conclude on gameplay that was that isometric shooter instead of first person or third person and more horror centric.
It depends. A lot of people, yeah, I do think that placing the focus of the aliens games on the actual shooting part is not the best decision. I mean, at least if you want to make it an action game, make it about the predators. Like that's much more badass than playing simple marines. You
The
know what I mean?
spotlight then shifted to Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I thought this presentation would be a good time to showcase some new gameplay of this game, but we
They
got
don't.
nothing new. They just showed footage of an old trailer, and so that just kind of felt like a waste of time.
Okay.
This was followed up by Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga getting some new characters, including
Yep.
Andor, Reva, Captain Rex, and more, which is neat for people who enjoy the game. Return to
Uh,
Monkey Island was thrown in there, which comes out in a couple of days.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
one that, yeah, I'd love to check out.
Not
Monkey
my
Island is a
style.
classic series, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they did with this new game.
I don't like the style of it. Like, I already don't like the style of it. It's the same thing of simplifying shit. The art style was charming, but it wasn't like dot eyes and these kinds of indie game like things.
But we've seen plenty of this game already.
I
The
don't
showcase also
don't really
highlighted
like this
Gargoyles
style.
Remastered, which marks the return of a classic game. I personally didn't play Gargoyles, but some
Never
people
played
seem pretty
Gargoyles
excited
either.
for it, so that's kind of neat. And then another mobile game, Mirrorverse, which is a game that I believe is already out, but they announced that.
Yeah, it's already out. I think this is just basically them announcing the characters for it, the villains, which is a shame. That is, this is just a brainless. There are, again, don't get me wrong, there are good mobile games out there. People who think they're not good gun games are not mistaken. Okay, where was I? Sorry, I got called in the middle of a phrase, so I had to. Okay, so they just introduced the characters, which is a shame because this mobile there are mobile good mobile games out there. There are good mobile games. There are games that are very interesting in terms of mobile games. Against several gachas, several gacha games are very cool. There is a really good story there in those mobile gacha games. They're very good story, very good music, and those gacha games. Marvel decided to just okay, we're just gonna do a gacha game, but make it as bland as possible. There is no voice acting. There is no charm or personality in this one. Music is bland. Nothing about this is standing out. It's just okay. This is just brand. This is just brand selling out their characters with slightly cooler looks. The looks is the only thing that is going for it.
Disney villains are coming to the game. Again, just nothing that interested me at all. Then came one of the more interesting announcements, Speedstorm by
Oh
Gameloft,
yeah.
which is a game for PC and consoles. It's essentially Mario Kart, but with Disney characters. The gameplay and visuals don't look bad at all, but
Yeah,
the fact that it is a free-to-play game from Gameloft does have people concerned about how monetization will be handled in this game. Gameloft also showed off Dreamlight Valley, which is essentially Disney's Animal Crossing, this
Okay.
life and management sim as well as an adventure game, and they basically announced Toy Story content for the title.
Okay.
I do hear generally positive impressions surrounding this game, so there's that. But this is nothing super hype within the confines of this game showcase.
No.
This was then followed up by, yep, you guessed it, another mobile game, Avatar Reckoning, which is this third-person shooter Avatar game that, from a visual standpoint, doesn't look bad for a mobile game.
Okay.
But
And
the game overall does look kind of generic to me, and no doubt because it is a mobile game, monetization will be pushed to the brink. It was definitely off-putting that they showed gameplay of the mobile Avatar game, but showed us nothing new of the AAA Avatar game in development that people are more excited
Obviously.
for. It's emblematic of why this whole game showcase was received so poorly. They put the emphasis on the wrong
yeah,
game.
it kind of looks like a generic shooter, a completely generic shooter that has the avatar slapped on top of it. Like, what is it? What does it? Anything of that speak to your avatar? I don't think anything of this speaks to your avatar. If you look at the screen right now, what do you see? You see a generic place, generic boss saw villains, boss saw boss, generic guns. Nothing really seems that screams Avatar. There was a specific, there's specific aesthetic when it comes to Avatar that people should follow and push into it if you're gonna go make games around it. But this is not it, Chief. This is not it.
The games that we really wanted to see.
Again, what is this? This is This is a generic base number 49, probably pulled off from some Unity store, with some generic jungles behind it. No big trees, no super weird animals, nothing like that. Look at this.
Just were completely absent, and so this presentation just feels that much harder.
Cool,
to
cool.
justify.
That's more like it. That's what we want to. But the fact that there's these shooting arenas so far we showed was the fact that these cutscenes take place in like big important places where actual identity of Avatar is showcased, whatever little identity even has, is done in cutscenes. And the shooting gallery we see so far are generic shooting galleries you see in every single shooter games. Concerning.
Though after the Avatar mobile game, we did get what I think was the most exciting announcement from the event, the Untitled Skydance Marvel game featuring Captain America and Black Panther in World War II from none other than the one and only Amy Hennig. Unfortunately, it was just a CGI teaser, so we didn't get much information from this footage other than the fact that it would star Captain America and Black Panther in World War II. But it is an Amy Hennig game, so it has all the potential to be an amazing title, and I'm definitely going to keep my eyes peeled for this one. Now, you'd think that would be the show's closing announcement, but instead, they decided to conclude the presentation with a mobile game, Marvel World Heroes from Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go. It's basically a similar type of augmented reality game from the looks of it, but the trailer only featured this exaggerated live-action marketing footage, so not much to glean at there. And not to mention, this game will no doubt be monetized to hell and back if Pokemon Go is any indication.
Okay.
So, yeah, the show
How to make your game not look cool in 3 steps.
case ended on quite the whimper. And
That's the same thing that happened with Anthem trailer. I think in a lot of ways when it came out, like the gameplay looked nice, but the fact that make everyone cringe, no matter how many reactions I saw to this trailer, is the guys, we're totally normal gamers, guys, we're totally normal gamers, we're speaking normal gamers language. Oh, I totally got this item, cool item. I'm totally not hired doctor to say the most cringeworthy things to promote this game and speak like we're speaking on voice chat, even though we're clearly sitting in the same room and are paid actors who are not interested in this game at all.
The fact that they closed the showcase on a freaking mobile game highlights that this showcase just had all of the
Same here. Oh, I'm gonna make stupid pose in this mobile with my mobile phone in the hand, and hope the CGI department of our marketing does not make me look like a dork.
wrong priorities. The showcase did give us an ending montage, though, and it's only in this montage that we saw glimpses of Marvel Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Wolverine, Kingdom Hearts 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, you name it, the stuff we actually wanted to see. And even
Obviously.
then, we only saw glimpses of old footage and trailers that we're already familiar with. So that just felt like insult to injuries. Disney and Marvel didn't set the proper expectations for this game showcase. People expected at least one of these most anticipated games to be showcased properly, but you got nothing. So yeah, this is why if you go to the Disney and Marvel Game Showcase's official YouTube upload, you'll find that top comments include, they had the audacity to show the games we wanted at the end with footage we have seen. Alongside that, you've got people saying things like, minute of silence for those who thought that they will see Marvel Spider-Man 2 or Wolverine. Below that, you've got some harsh comments like, had me going there, I actually thought this was going to be a decent showcase, or this probably was the most underwhelming game showcase I've ever witnessed. The general sentiment surrounding this showcase is, my disappointment is immeasurable and
My day is ruined.
And that's because when you announce a game showcase like this, I mean, there tends to be certain expectations that you have to try to fulfill.
Absolutely.
Usually, when you say we have a game showcase, that tends to be interpreted as we have
A
at least
game. Yeah,
one
we have something.
mind-blowing major
We have something to do
announcement,
show here.
or there's at least one thing that you'll definitely want to tune in for. And as neat as the Amy Hennig Marvel game announcement was, we didn't see much of that game, so that alone can't carry the entire game showcase. Whereas with, again, State of Play, we did see, that big God of War Ragnarok trailer to make the wait worth it, alongside great announcements like Tekken 8 being the
Yeah, I think
opener.
I think the thing that makes us even more underwhelming in the grand scheme of things is how overwhelming the other announcements were and the other showcases, and they just kind of rolled up and with like the most weird, the weakest things ever, like bunch of mobile games, a bunch of like underwhelming games that will be interesting for like a niche audience. If you're a part of that niche audience, all the power to you. Honestly, if you enjoy this kind of games, that's nice. Personally, I'm excited for that XCOM game from Marvel because Marvel does have some specific characters that are very interesting and could be used in various interesting mechanics. Though I don't really know how it will work. I'll need to look into that further. But still, mobile games. They don't really show much gameplay of those either. Someone needs to show Marvel's marketing department that you show, not tell.
Announcement of Tekken 8 being the way they kicked off the show, and a bunch of cool stuff in the middle as well. Nintendo's most recent direct, yes, a lot of farming simulator games and all that, but they did close off with another look at Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, which is titled Tears of the Kingdom. They gave us a release date, they gave us the title, and some additional footage alongside a new Fire Emblem. They announced Pikmin 4, and there were some really cool announcements in between. Just a stark contrast to Disney and Marvel's own game showcase. And look, if you're not ready to show some of these major games, that's all well and good, but hold off on a game showcase like this until you have those.
Yeah, until you have
ready.
something to
like
show.
This game showcase should have been delayed, or at the very least, Disney and Marvel should have made it very clear what we're going to see in this show.
People like hype. That's a double-edged sword in a lot of ways. That people like hype, but people like hype, and people will always like hype. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. When you don't provide them with hype, most likely what happens is that most of the games that you try to showcase in some manner of way, though go out slowly, and the interest wanes, and they fall off the map eventually. Some of them pull back, like when it comes to Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring sub managed to maintain the hype behind it for a while because they periodically dropped like specific trailers for it, and like especially they pushed on like last month or so before the release. They pushed a bunch of trailers, a bunch of stuff out, and it ignited the hype. But the most of the hype that happened after release, what happened because of these all the 10 out of 10 release reviews, all of these super all of these people saying this is an awesome game, this is a amazing game, go play this game. That's the majority of the hype. They still managed to maintain some hype on their own outside of it.
Also, never end a show like this on a mobile game. Have
Yeah,
we
no, no.
not learned from Blizzard's mistakes with BlizzCon 2018
They do not have phones, guys. They do not have phones.
and how they made Diablo Immortal the flagship announcement, the big closer of their presentation, and the backlash that garnered? The people who tune into these shows are not the crowd that are super into mobile games.
Yeah,
They are the
no.
more hardcore gamers who look
They don't care.
forward to major reveals and announcements and trailers for major releases like Kingdom Hearts 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Marvel's Wolverine, none of which we got at this showcase. One of those should have at least been prominently featured here. Concluding on something like that may have potentially justified the existence of this game showcase, but as it currently stands, I'm wondering why generate all this hype only to disappoint people and generate negative PR.
Yeah, I
With
don't
all
really
that said,
understand.
though, I am looking forward to seeing more of Amy Hennig's Marvel game, and hopefully with future game showcases, Disney and Marvel will learn the lesson from this one and will be more prepared with more substantial content and more substantial announcements and trailers to please audiences. Or at the very least, that's one
I don't.
man's take. Let
I don't really think they're interested in pleasing audiences,
me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the Disney and Marvel
or at least so out of touch that they're just they're just very much very concentrated on certain idea of content, and when their idea of content isn't supported, they just kind of go, oh, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. That's surprising. That was surprising. I don't know. Whatever.